Welcome to Plus One Forward, the podcast powered by the Apocalypse, where we talk about tabletop role-playing games using or inspired by the Apocalypse engine. I'm your MC, Rich, and I'm joined in our very first episode by my guest, Meg Baker of Night Sky Games, co-creator of Apocalypse World. Hey, Meg, how are you doing?
Hello. I am doing fine, thanks.
Excellent. Welcome to the show. So excited. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, normally in the intro here, I would ask the guest, how long have you been playing PBTA games? So how long have you been playing PBTA games?
Longer than anyone else on the planet, I would get to say. Yeah, so what are we at? 5 years? I guess that would put for me then 7-ish. First edition was very much something that fell from Vincent's head and was like, oh my God, we have to play this. Meg, play this with me. What should it be different? How should it be? What happens next? And then obviously I'm very opinionated. A lot of stuff happened in response to that. What do you say, Vincent? 6 years that I've been playing Apocalypse World? Maybe more?
2008.
2008?
Winter 2008.
Winter of 2008. However long that is. 7 years. 7 years. Yeah.
Yeah, 7 years. That's fantastic. That's my intro, so let's move on to Read a Sitch. Read a Sitch. Welcome to Read a Sitch. This is where we talk about things that are happening at our tables when we play these crazy games of ours. So, Meg, do you have any examples of problems or situations that happen in games that you're playing powered by the Apocalypse games? I figure you're playing a few.
Yeah, I've played a lot. Let's see. I think those are two different questions. You know, a problem is different than an engaging situation, or interesting situation, challenging situation. But I'll go with it. Situations that come up repeatedly in powered by the Apocalypse games with people who have not yet played one is just looking at the mechanics and like that instant hit the first time there's dice and figuring out, okay, wait, what's good? You know, the 10 plus, the 7 to 9, and the 6 minus. That's a situation right there where you're like, okay, can you flow with it? How do you expand people's brains to handle that? And why adapt to that as opposed to whatever they've been doing prior? So that's one common situation that I run into with PBTA games, especially with new players. But with all kinds of players, habitually, especially with Apocalypse World and others that are really close to it, Monster Hearts in particular, a place that I run into a true reading the situation moment is dealing with sex moves, where it takes being aware of people's comfort level and like, okay, is this a place where we're going to see, a NC-17 version of the scene, or are we going to politely draw to black really quickly? Or is it just going to be like, oh, I guess then we have sex, moving on, and it's not the focus at all. This is really interesting for me because I often play with a lot of teenagers, people who are half my age. Either I'm running for them, or I'm overhearing, or they're Baker House band that is our test group. So they're aware that I'm like, all right, please check out and see how these rules work or whatever. So that's a place that I run into actually reading a situation often, and I encourage other people to run into it often too, to be mindful of body language and vocal changes of like who's comfortable, who's not comfortable. I have a whole presentation that I give on the languages of sexuality, and watching in that moment who uses what language to create vulnerability or distance or aggressive rejection of talking about sex and sexuality. It's really interesting. And Apocalypse World and Monster Hearts are really the two that I think most pointedly address that. Monster of the Week, not so much.
Yeah, they.
Worldwide Wrestling, not so much. So The Warren, though, the Warren has really interesting takes on that with the rabbits and what it means to be a pregnant bunny or not. So.
Since I've got you here and we're talking a little mechanics, I am curious.
Yeah.
How do you normally play it in the HX rollover? So someone gets up to a +3 HX, then they get one more, they get an XP, and it resets.
Yeah.
How do you normally suggest somebody handle that in a fixture? Because you know somebody, they get tighter, you really know them, and all of a sudden you're back to square one.
You're not back to square one. The HX rollover is a shift in how you know someone. Okay, so check this out. When you meet somebody, and you're just getting to know them, and you know them better, and you know them better, and you know them better, and then something changes in the dynamic of your relationship. And then what I'm going to do, it's like, okay, met somebody, get them to know them, get them to know them, get them to know them. Hey, do you want to go out? And then you're going out, right? But so you're not at square one, but something has shifted in your dynamic. And then you're knowing them better on an entirely different level. And then something will come along where you're like, oh, hey, I did not know that about you. I don't think I knew you as well as I thought I did. So you're again at a different tipping point. So you're taking the relationship and you're looking at it from different angles and different facets. You're not going back to square one because you have a shared history. But something has pivoted, something has changed about your relationship. And sometimes they're really big changes. Sometimes it's like, okay, I am converting to some entirely different political party, and I'm going to be really hardline about it, even though we've grown up together and we have all this shared history and we've done all this stuff. This is a radical change I'm making. And that would be like, holy crap, I do not know you anymore. Who are you even? So that's how the history mechanic works.
Nice. I like that. Thanks, Meg. You kind of unlocked a little thing for me.
Ta-da!
Cool. Let's move on to open our brains. Open your brain. Welcome to Open Your Brain. This is the part of our lovely little podcast where I get to talk to our guest about a particular game that's powered by the Apocalypse. And since I have direct into the source here on Apocalypse World, and they're heavy into second edition, I thought maybe we can get some updates. Here it is in May. And what was the promised?
September.
Promise is maybe a little strong. The goal is September. Nice.
Yep.
Nice.
The month of March was kind of our own personal apocalypse world. We had a lot of medical issues in the family. We had a windstorm that stripped a bunch of stuff off our roof. It ate the entire month of, now's when we get to be doing a lot of writing. I guess not. So we're still really deeply on track to be where we want to be in September. I have zero concern about that. Things are trucking along nicely. I don't know. It's tough. It's hard to say, like, when you're just doing the work. It's like, yeah, we're working on it. It's going good. But that's really where things are. You know, it's process. It's hard to say whether a first edition or second edition is harder, because with a first edition, it's the first time you're putting that work out before its intended audience. It's a big deal. Mm-hmm. You got a lot of work to do. With the second edition, there's a whole different level of fiddliness of like, okay, if we tinker with this bit, how does that affect these bits? Are those bits accounted for? Do we want to mess with this whole other thing? Yes. Okay, let's figure out what that means, you know. So all kinds of that. Smaller adjustments. It's a little bit, I would imagine it's a little bit like learning how to cook something, and you're like, I can make this meal really well. And now what if I start, like, I just want to change things up and make it a little different, and do I have too much salt in? Maybe, I don't know. So I don't have any big scoop for you. It's on track. And we're feeling good about
That's all I need to know. That is great. Yeah, if you guys are still solid on September, that is 100% awesome. All right, now I see posted occasionally on Google Plus community or just randomly out there, for the people that missed the Kickstarter, are there any plans for a pre-order, or just in September is when they can deal with it?
I know that there have been like requests and comments and like, wouldn't it be nice if, but the logistics behind that are nightmarish. One of the reasons to do a Kickstarter is because it deals with all that data in a really manageable way that is streamlined and makes it easier for us to get the things to the people that we've promised to get them to in an orderly fashion and make it available to everyone else in a timely and orderly fashion. If we start having to maintain a second separate database of like who's done which and what, it starts to get really a logistical nightmare. And it's, not something that we're particularly interested in doing.
I don't blame you.
I'd rather have things smooth and get to you than say, oh yeah, all that stuff.
I hear you. And then the last question on when it's out, are the plans to have it on the Unstore at Lumpley? Are you going to have it on drive-through?
I don't know. All that remains yet to be seen.
Cool.
The Maelstrom has not yet divulged all of the exact plans as to where and how it will be available. I know it'll be in PDF from some places. I don't know exactly. I know it'll be available in print. We are getting, we had a retail level in the Kickstarter, so we're, figuring out ways to get back in retail if there are retailers who, are able or interested or want to go for what we can set up. We're not going to go into distribution, and we'll see what else happens.
All right. Let's talk a little mechanics.
Okay.
Briefly, because I know that things are being developed, but I got onto the Patreon specifically so I could check out these playbooks, and I ran it live, but I mostly ran it through Play by Post, and it was I really enjoyed the new rules. But one bit that kind of confused me, and maybe it was just my brain, maybe I just couldn't tap into the Maelstrom, but just for example, it was lifestyle, right? At the beginning of the session, spend 1 or 2 barter for your lifestyle. If you can or you won't, tell the MC, and then you answer her questions. How does that go? What does that even mean?
Okay, so this is a part where I say to you, my friend, you are overthinking it. It is a word. What's your lifestyle like? Are you in the apocalypse world? Are you living a scratching out cheap meager existence? Cool. It probably only takes 1 barter. But if you're, trying to live it lush, probably you need to spend more. There's no missing mechanic. There's no big reveal about here's the lifestyle chart. It's just a word.
All right, so there's no lifestyle subsystem that's coming later.
No, there's no lifestyle subsystem that's coming. For that, you're going to have to wait for freebooting Venus.
Cool,
and then... Spend 2 on your lifestyle is noticeably and visibly better.
Hold on. So if you're spending more than anybody else at the table, like if everybody else is spending 1 barter on their lifestyle and you're spending 2 on yours, you have a better lifestyle. You're obviously the person with the cash to throw around.
For instance, Epi had hair
and that's pretty much what it is. I don't know if that answers your question.
It does.
Okay.
Cool. Okay. I just wondered if there was some kind of subsystem that was coming, or if there's just some build out on lifestyle.
No, it's again with like so much of our ethic with this is we're putting it out in front of you as fast as we can, and it just takes too damn much effort to have like little hide things back, like we're gonna do a big reveal of the I don't know, the whatever. It's cool. I mean, if somebody goes and does a PBTA game that really gets into minutia of lifestyle and like making that a thing, that'd be cool. It's PBTA, the Home Shopping Network. I don't know.
Shopping in the apocalypse. I love it.
Yeah, right? Yeah, okay. Well, that's how we got here, didn't we?
Okay. Meg, tell me, what's your favorite move in Apocalypse Roll 2nd Edition and why?
Oh, geez. I don't even know.
What's the one you're itching to throw down?
For the last month? Yeah, for the month of April, I've been living, breathing, writing, sleeping, everything, a LARP, sandbox LARP that our son Elliot was running, that I was helping provide support facilitation for and did a bunch of writing for. So right now it's lucky thing that I can say, I think there's 2d6 in Apocalypse World. I'm very fond of the Waterbearer, one of the new playbooks that came out. And like the Waterbearer moves, I'm really, really pleased with how they turned out. I can't really pick a favorite among them, I don't think. Yeah, I'd have to go back in and like look, because like right now when I think about it and try to scroll back in my brain through that to that space, it's just all good. I don't know. Step into the flow is really, really good. Like
when you lead a group in a true ceremony, roll plus cool. That is.
I'm really intrigued to see how that works in play.
Me too.
In full, like in an actual full play thing.
I have not had a chance to step into any of the new playbooks because my play by post had concluded just before the Kickstarter. So
we did that on purpose. That was a maelstrom thing. We're like tapping in, like, okay, just wait till Rich is done. Now go.
Hey, it's all good. You've got the faceless in there. That's all you needed to say. Everything else is gravy, Meg.
Yeah.
Everything else is gravy. So now we're done opening our brain. Do you have a minute, Meg? I'd love it if you could just kind of, maybe we could run just a little bit. If you could run just a quick scene for me.
Okay, so what are you playing?
I am playing a faceless because I have the opportunity to play a faceless.
Okay. You are... you know what a water tower looks like? It has this great big round thing on top, right? Okay. Mm-hmm. And so there's all these metal girders and stuff that support the water tower. Water tower is empty, so it's now like this big drum, like a big bowl up there supported by these posts. And you're in the bottom of that drum. There's a couple of Dust Witches gang around the edges of the bowl looking down at you, and they all have like croquet ball, you know, the old wooden kind, the really heavy croquet balls.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. They're getting ready to rain those down on you, and they'll make a like this thundering noise. They'll bounce off. They'll ricochet. They're going to pound the crap out of you. You are tied up in the bottom of the bowl of this water tower. What do you do?
Oh, well, luckily for me, I happen to have a move called Oh Yeah.
Excellent.
I wonder if I could maybe smash my way through this scenery, because I want to get away from something, which is I really don't want to get clubbed by a bunch of croquet balls, those wooden balls.
They're heavy.
Yeah, they're heavy.
That's not good. All right, that's awesome. So do you have some dice there you can roll?
I do. I have 2 6-sided dice here, and you know what? Since this is +1 forward, I'm just going to say I have a +1 stats.
Brilliant. Go for it.
All right, cool. Here we go. This is rolling plus hard. I just rolled a 9 plus 1
nice.
Is a 10.
Rocket.
Right. On a 10 plus, the scenery's moved or smashed, and you get what you want, which is I want to get the hell out of Dodge.
All right. So, it's kind of like it's a big old rusted out bowl. The first hit of the bowling ball, of the croquet ball, smashes a dent, probably, let's say, 4 feet off to your left, puts a crack in the rusted metal there.
Nice.
So that's your opening, if you can take it.
That's what I need. I've got my big shakicker, so I'm going to stomp on that.
Go.
And then just bust on through. If it's rusty, I can make a hole. I can get through. I don't care about tetanus. Who cares, man?
Awesome.
Don't got time for that.
Great. So you're about, let's say, 50 feet up, maybe 65 feet up. They notice their plans growing a little awry. You get hit a couple times. You get through. The fall is hard, and you've got bits of rusted metal showering down with you. Roll with it. You got a 10, but you got your 10.
Nice.
You look like you've been through it, but you're down. You're out. Now what?
I'm down. I am out. How many Dust Witches guys came out this time?
Well, you had like 4 up there on top. They probably had somebody down here right now, but they didn't figure on you coming down. You may have had the drop on them.
Yeah, I'm going after that one.
Cool. Do you have a move that applies here?
Well, I get 3 moves, so I think that I've got Rasputin, which means shot, stabbed, and poison. I just keep coming, so I'm planning on... You know what? That is BALLZ down there.
All right.
So I'm screaming BALLZ' name, and I'm running at him with rusted pieces of metal sticking out of my body and screaming like it's scary as hell.
Yeah, that's very scary. BALLZ did not count on that at all. He kind of freaks out on you. You ever cornered a cat, like you tried to get to a cat when it doesn't want to like get its nails clipped or doesn't want to get...
Yeah, it's never fun.
Yeah, that's BALLZ's whole operation right now is freak out, panic... There's no grace or I don't think there ever was any grace or plan. It's not going to be pretty, but he's certainly not effective.
Does he have any weapons on him? If they're just throwing croquet balls, I don't know if these guys even...
He had some bit of metal. Maybe, like, I guess we can default to crowbar, like a pry bar. Not a crowbar, but like a little pry bar.
Yeah, that's even better. That's even better. I'm going to shove him down and take his pry bar.
All right, he's, it's messy, but cool.
Yeah.
It's... I'm
not wasting a lot of time.
Probably would have been better if you'd been up on your tetanus. Maybe also your rabies.
Yeah.
But, didn't go that way.
Sweet. Did they just walk up here, or did they
No,
ride?
there's probably, let's see. So you're heading down?
Yeah, I'm heading
down and away. Okay. Well, you came up here on the back of a quad. You may not have been fully conscious. You could probably put your hands on that if you spent the time to look around for it. It's probably around here somewhere.
I figured these guys are going to be coming down here. I don't have a whole lot of time.
Oh, yeah, you don't have a lot of time.
Man, so...
You can hear them yelling as they're sort of scrambling, because they don't want to take the fast way down like you did. They're just trying to climb down the support structure for the water tower.
All right, so I can either probably walk around and try to take them down one by one, or I can maybe look for some way to get the hell out of Dodge.
Yeah, it's coming on dark, so visibility is going down. There's some lights down below from back at camp, but you've still got to get down the hill.
Yeah, heavy jog to camp's not going to last, so
yeah.
I'm just going to circle back around, and the first one to comes down, gets a face full of me.
Cool. Good. There you go.
There we go. That was pretty great off the cuff. Thanks, Meg. I really appreciate that.
No problem.
Fun. Okay, well, Meg, thank you so much for coming on our first episode of Plus One Forward.
Yes.
Thanks for making this game that's inspired me and a lot of other gamers. It's been really fantastic. Hopefully we'll see you around, and then in September everybody will have our greedy hands on this second edition.
Or sooner, we hope.
Sooner
would be great. We'll hope.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Meg.
No problem.
Plus One Forward is a production of the Gauntlet community and Richard Rogers. You can find us on gauntlet-rpg.com or follow us on Twitter at GauntletRPG. The games mentioned on this show use the Apocalypse engine, which is a creation of Vincent and Meg Baker. The music for Plus One Forward is from the Savage Oral Hotbed CD Gomi Daiko. The songs used are Gomi Daiko Metal version and Process. You can find more amazing tunes by Savage Oral Hotbed on their website, savageoralhotbed.com.